My sister was unemployed for almost 2 years after a layoff. She got used to being home with her 2 children. My sister and her husband are tight on money. My sister asked me about watching her kids while she starts a new job, since I'm a stay-at-home mom. I said yes at first, but my sister handed me a list of rules, things like a daily schedule that would seriously upset my own children's daily routine. Then she gave me an approved menu for her kids and what I could and couldn't feed them because they're on a healthy whole food diet. I flat out told my sister this isn't going to work and I'm not going to watch your kids. My sister offered to buy the organic whole food. I told her she's tight on money. She said it's not my business. I told her no, that's not the point. I'm not making your children separate lunches and I'm not going by your schedule. I'm watching the kids for free. They get what they get. That's it. My sister said she'd find something else, but didn't expect inflation or childcare services to be so high. She reached out to me asking for a compromise because it would disrupt her children's schedule if I didn't follow it, and the food I make might give her children a tummy ache. I told my sister there's no way this is going to work, and I'm not watching her kids now or ever because she's such a diva. My sister complained about what she would do. She started a new job on Monday. I told her not to act like her children are royalty when she can't even afford a babysitter. My sister hasn't talked to me since, and my mom has tried to talk to me about the situation, but even mom agrees she wouldn't watch those kids with all my sister's unrealistic demands. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your children and their comfort and schedule are your priority. You offered to watch your sister's children, but you didn't offer to upend your life or the lives of your children to accommodate your sister's demands while you watched her children for free. It's really not your problem. The only compromise your sister wants is for you to agree to her list of demands, which will not happen. If she didn't research the cost of childcare before accepting the position, she has no one to blame but herself. She made the mistake of looking a gift horse in the mouth. Even mom agrees she wouldn't watch those kids with all my sister's unrealistic demands. What refreshing sanity. It's a miracle. Even grandma won't watch the kids because of those rules. I love the compromise the sister offered to purchase the organic food after OP rescinded the offer to babysit due to the ludicrous demands. She was totally going to expect OP to cover that cost quietly. She would take advantage of OP every possible opportunity she could, especially now that she knows how much that level of detailed childcare costs. Your sister's a choosy beggar. If she's expecting you to do more than a childcare provider for free, then she needs a major reality check. I wouldn't even consider it at this point because it'll turn into pure heck. Do you want to get lectured whenever she picks up the kids? Stand your ground on this. She's desperate yet makes her demands. I can only imagine what kind of nightmare this will become if you cave in. I am not attracted to beards. Personal preference. I don't like the way they look, and I hate the way they rub on my sensitive skin. My husband knows this, has known it as long as we've been together. He decided to grow his beard out for the past few months. I still don't like beards. When I asked if he could shave it, he said it was his body, and I couldn't tell him what to do. He joked that if it came between me and the beard would stay. There are things I don't like to do, but I do for my husband, like shaving my entire body. It's honestly a pain, but my husband prefers it, and I know that society does too. I decided to stop shaving anything. As a South Asian woman, that means I'm now incredibly hairy. My legs are indistinguishable from my dad's now. I'm still very hygienic. I just don't shave. And it's been really freeing. I don't have the pain of ingrown hairs that I used to get everywhere, especially my underarms. I have literally an additional half hour to an hour a day. I don't have to carry a razor because of paranoia I missed a spot or worry about how my toes look. I didn't know how much time I spent shaving, waxing, and threading until I stopped. At most now, I just get my upper lip threaded, but even now I don't do it as often. It would be nice if we were both happier now, but my husband is disgusted at my hairy body. My husband hates it. He accuses me of doing it to spite him. He compares me to Chewbacca, which to be fair is not far off. He's been telling me that women find beards attractive, but men don't find hairy women attractive, so it was unequal. For me, it was more like letting go of the expectation that I had to do things that my husband was attracted to. Even if he shaves his beard, I don't think I could return to shaving daily like I used to. I don't see it as a conflict. I feel like we should just now be happy to be ourselves. I don't think I'm the idiot, but he says I am one. He's been telling me that women find beards attractive, but men don't find hairy women attractive, so it's unequal. He can go screw himself. He's the idiot. But it is a good thing that his growing beard created an opportunity for you to feel comfortable with your body as is, and without adhering to any fears based on how society treats women. Yeah, tell him that he should find a woman who thinks his beard is attractive, since he doesn't respect your opinion. But in all honesty, if he wants to pull the "it's my body" card, you get to as well. You get to as well. If this was done to spite him, sure, that would be kind of crappy of you. But this is just you not maintaining an unfair expectation that he also isn't maintaining. Also, I don't get the aversion to body hair. I don't like underarm hair, but honestly, mine is a bigger problem for me than my wife's. It's attached to my body 24/7. I, 24 male, and my girlfriend, 23, Anne, began dating in college. Last week, Anne invited me to her coworker's Joe party. I had heard a lot about him in the past, and he and she seemed to have a lot in common, especially with their taste in music. Apparently, he's an amateur musician with a fairly successful YouTube channel. Joe initially invited only Anne, but he said it was fine when she asked if I could tag along. The party was on Saturday evening. It was a fun party with about 30 people, held at a restaurant Joe had rented out. Towards the end, though, I wandered into Anne's little discussion group, and I immediately felt nobody really wanted me there. Most of all, Anne. It was her, Joe, and a few other people. Thinking that I was just imagining things, I hung around and listened to Joe basically boast about himself the whole time. A little while later, I wandered off to get myself a drink and chat with a few other people. Eventually, the time to leave came around, and I went to find Anne again. Joe approached me at that point and said he was having an after party at his house. I was going to refuse, but then he said, "Sorry, man, but only Anne's invited," while clapping me on the shoulder. I first told him not to touch me, and then said she wasn't going. He informed me that she'd already accepted the invitation. I texted Anne immediately to ask where she was. She responded, "Sorry, on the way to Joe's place. I'll see you tomorrow. I love you." Asked if she knew I wasn't invited, and then she left me on read. Texts after that were all ignored. I drove home, furious. I stayed up all night, and finally, Anne walked in the door at 5:52 a.m. I know because I was by the window watching. I recognized the car as Joe's, and the driver is Joe. Nobody else was in the car. Anne waved to him cutely and laughed at something he said. Anne came inside and acted surprised to see me still up. At that point, I flatly told her that we were done and she had the rest of the day to move out. Anne was confused at first, and then I told her she could just move in with Joe. She rolled her eyes and said nothing happened. She gave me this spiel about my insecurities and imagination. I said it didn't matter. After arguing, Anne finally relented and sarcastically thanked me for wasting the best years of her life. Anne finally moved out yesterday, and it was pretty dramatic. She said she loved me and that I was throwing away everything over a party. Did I do her wrong here? I feel like I'm getting gaslighted. She left you at a party she invited you to, went to another party without communicating with you, and ghosted you when you messaged her. I'm sorry, but she doesn't care or respect you. At least you're no priority, and her colleagues seem more important. I would never leave my partner I came with at a party stranded and then gaslight him for being angry. It seems you're her safety person, the one who should wait for her and take care of her, and that's it. I wouldn't do this to a regular friend either, let alone a partner with whom you're supposed to be ride or die. She came back at 5:42 a.m. That was a party for two in his bed. He can have her. His getting her will be its own punishment. Everything about that interaction screams cheating, right down to the old chestnuts of nothing happened and you're insecure. You absolutely did the right thing, dude. OP, she gaslit you. She had intimacy with Joe all night and then tried to make you feel bad about it. If you've got mutual friends, tell them she cheated and to not bring her up. If they push the issue, block them. Block her everywhere. If you're friends with her family, go ahead and block them. If they've reached out, merely say, "She slept with another guy and tried to blame me for it." I'm worth more than being cheated on and blamed for it, and then blocked them. You did well by kicking her out. Once she realizes Joe was just there for the intimacy, I'm sure she'll try to crawl back. Don't answer. Acknowledge or give her the time of day. You dodged a bullet, man. My sister died last year. We were estranged, and I had nothing to do with her in the final years of her life because her child, who's now a preschooler, was the result of an affair between my sister and my ex-husband. But he was my husband at the time. I told my sister once she did that to me, she was dead to me, and I would never forgive her or want to see her again. I never forgave her and still don't. I have zero regrets now that she's gone either. I never met her child. I have no interest in being a part of their life, even now, which means I don't see my mom as much now because she has custody of my sister's child. My ex isn't in the picture, and he's supposed to be paying child support, but evades it currently. My mom is struggling. She's not in the best shape after years of physical issues. Money's getting tighter between one thing and another. She's asked me to help several times. Her fear is the child will be taken into foster care if she can no longer cope doing it alone, but I refuse to offer any help. I told my mom I love her, but I can't be selfless enough to want to help the child. I told her I couldn't even imagine stepping up, given what their birth symbolized to me. I told her I know that's hard for her to hear, but a part of me will always hate her parents. There will always be a level of disgust I feel both toward my sister, even now that she's dead, and my ex for messing around on me and making a kid together. I have a problem that leads to infertility, and it was a huge betrayal for me. And I could never be fair or look beyond that to love this child in question. It wouldn't be fair to them. And yes, I had therapy, and I'm still in therapy. I've done a lot of work on myself where I could move forward, but some things will never be moving forward for me, like the idea of forgiving them or wanting their child in my life. My mom can't understand. She can't really understand me for not forgiving my sister, now that she's dead, at the very least. But she really can't understand me not wanting anything to do with her child. My mom said she would have loved nieces and nephews. She's also angry that I would rather see her grandchild go than help. She can't understand how I could live with myself, or how I could tell myself I'd sleep better with that than having them in my life. Am I the idiot? Edit. My ex does have a family, but they were never very good people, and I was made aware that they wanted nothing to do with him or the child because he broke marriage vows. They do not condone adultery because of their religious beliefs, but they also don't condone children born out of wedlock either, so none of them would ever step in to take care of the child. CPS has been in touch with my mom and is working with her on this. She just doesn't want to tell them she can't do it alone. She doesn't want her grandchild to be adopted or raised by foster parents. It's the very thing she's trying to avoid, but she has no backup if something happens to her. She wants it to be me, but it'll never happen. She's at least partially aware of that too. Not the idiot. The kindest thing your mom can do for that child is to have him adopted by a family that has no ties to any of you or the circumstances of his birth. Trying to force people who don't want him in their lives to take him is incredibly selfish and cruel on her part. She is not doing what's in his best interest. People always say that the child born from an affair is innocent, which is true, but the person who's been cheated on during the affair is just as innocent and shouldn't be subjected to the punishment of caring for said child. It is unfortunate for the child, but her parents' actions are responsible for it, not you. You should just keep moving on in the manner you see fit. Don't subject yourself to more trauma. The kid would sense that you hate it, and all that it is, and that's not a good way for someone to grow up. 16 years ago, my daughter and my nephew were both 9 and were being looked after by my sister, his mom. My nephew decided to let her cat out just to see her reaction and only confessed to it a day later. He found it very humorous while she was devastated after we weren't able to find the cat after days of searching. My sister was really apologetic and did her best to discipline him for it, but for reasons that were understandable to everyone, my immediate family never saw my nephew again. He was forced to apologize by his parents, which he made every effort to do so, as sarcastically as possible. And even after growing up, he never realized that what he did was anything other than a funny prank. From what I know of him, he's barely changed as an adult. In spite of it, we didn't blame my sister. She never defended his actions and tried to get him mental treatment as an adolescent, too. I don't think she was a bad mother because her other two kids turned out fine. My daughter grew close to her when she moved to the same city where my daughter was in college. Both of them and my nephew all live and work there now. Last week, my sister asked my daughter if she could move in with her for a few weeks or months. My daughter agreed but rescinded it after she realized why. My nephew, his girlfriend, and their two kids needed a place to stay after being evicted because of his girlfriend's illegal drug use. My sister offered to let them stay, but my nephew's girlfriend hates her, so they asked her to move out and let them stay there on their own, which she agreed to because the alternative is everyone, including the kids, ends up homeless. My daughter told my sister that it was an insane thing to agree to and tried to convince her to reconsider, but my sister was adamant that it was the only choice, and she couldn't let the kids suffer for their parents' choice. Well, my daughter said if she wants to be taken advantage of, she can, but she, my daughter, is not going to be a party to it and has no intention of indirectly helping my nephew after what he did to her cat all those years ago. Both of them called me that night, and my sister asked me to tell my daughter to give up her really old grudge and to think of the children. My daughter asked if she was making the right choice. I sided with my daughter and told my sister it would be best for everyone if she joined the rest of us in going no contact from my nephew because he's always going to use his kids to manipulate her like this. But she thinks we're all wrong for letting his kids suffer due to who he is. What are the odds that the cousin and girlfriend will never move out again? Anna's making a huge mistake by moving out. Girlfriend doesn't like her? Too bad. She can suck it up or stay away. It's the aunt's flat, not the idiot. Your daughter can hold as many grudges as she likes. Yeah, I can see what they're plotting here from the other side of the planet and across time. They're going to take the aunt's place for themselves and force her to spend months or years fighting to get them to leave while they trash the place in retaliation, if she fights them at all, because she honestly sounds like such a doormat that she might just lie down on her own front porch and let people walk over her once she's been locked out of her own home because she doesn't want to make an issue out of it. And since when is a flimsy idiot BS reason like, I just don't like her, enough to make someone leave their own darn house? I mean, no one on my street got along with our boomer Karen neighbor when I was a kid, but it never occurred to us to knock on her door and say, yeah, the general consensus around here is that no one likes you, so we've decided you should leave. Please don't make a fuss. We don't want to get the pitchforks out. Maximum doormat level achieved. Standing ovation.